gotta get him on, Pat. You gotta get him on.
Great to be here.
You gotta get him on, Pat. You gotta get him on. Get him on, if he on, if he on, if he get him on, if he on,
no,
if he
no,
on, if he get him on, if he on, if he on, if he get him on, if he on,
no, no,
on, if he on. For the people that don't know, if you can take a quick moment, you got a massive YouTube channel, you got billions of views online. Your mom supports social or no?
no,
You like the fact that US is liked more today?
no.
Think Hillary's good?
Did I say that? No, no.
So you're saying that the middle voter doesn't matter at all?
No, tangent. Keep going. Tangent.
Seriously?
Keep going. Tangent. Keep going. Tangent.
Seriously?
Keep going.
What are you talking about? Keep going.
What are you talking about?
Keep going. What are you talking about? Keep going. What are you talking about? That's insane.
What? Failure. Patrick. Failure. What are you talking about? What? Failure.
That's not it.
Patrick. I think you're missing the picture.
I'm smelling bad. I'm not shaking.
You're not really doing this, are you?
And I think it's it.
Is that an energy drink now?
It is owned by Tesla, by the way. It's Elon's drink.
Uh-oh.
Mangoes?
My bag of mangoes.
Uh-oh.
I love mangoes too.
9 cents. Okay. Now that we are up under a Biden's regime, my bag of mangoes now costs $11.99.
That seems like a pretty good deal. A bag of mangoes? Aren't mangoes like $3 each? That's it. I want what, $8 or $11. That sounds good.
The American people will lie. And highway robbery is what you're doing. Bring my mangoes back down. My bag of mangoes. My bag of mangoes.
Mangoes?
My bag of mangoes. Bring my mangoes back down. Raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit. Bring my mangoes back down.
The Wisconsin crowd identified with the mangoes.
Unfortunately affected the American people. Those who want me to be healthy. Those who want me to be healthy. It's highway robbery is what you're doing. Don't raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit.
Mangoes?
Ladies and gentlemen, do not adjust your television. It is really 2023, and for the first time in history, a president is being indicted and will face criminal charges. This is all just such great news.
I was proven even more right than I would have ever imagined because apparently, there is actually indicting my father. So,
Great orange leader. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe prayer does work.
this is like communist level shit. This is
Dear
like
God.
communist level shit. This is like communist level shit. This is like communist level shit. This is like communist level shit.
Great orange leader.
Dear God.
God forbid, Donny boy. God forbid, Donny boy. Great orange leader.
Dear God.
God forbid, Donny boy. God forbid, Donny boy.
This is like communist level shit. This is like communist level shit. This is like communist level shit. This is like communist level shit.
I think that's about all we need to hear. I agree, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the live stream. It's been a while, but it is so great to be back. 2024's campaign is really getting going now. We have so many different things going on, and it's just such a great opportunity to have to spend with you tonight. We're going to hear from the twice indicted, twice arrested, twice impeached, failed former President Donald Trump, who didn't build a wall with Mexico that Mexico would pay for, didn't have Jared Kushner solve the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, didn't replace Obamacare with a big, beautiful health care plan, didn't do any of those things. That's the guy we're going to hear from tonight. That's not all that we're going to be doing today. We are going to be reviewing some of the big happenings in the world of political media, social media. Of course, over the last 72 hours, Twitter suffering a very significant downfall because of the launch of Meta's Threads. I am on Threads. I'm going to be talking about Threads. I do want to just put out there, I don't have any naivete or even naivety. People come back and forth. They say, no, sir, it's this way, it's that way. Whatever is the pronunciation you prefer. I don't have any of it that Meta is going to save us, right? It's going to be the height of political discourse. It's Twitter's really messed up. And of course, eventually Meta will be overrun by ads. And of course, Threads will be overrun by ads. And eventually Threads is going to have a lot of the same problems we've seen elsewhere. But the point here is Twitter is not going so well that Threads can't in 72 hours get to like 40% of the daily active users that Twitter has. That's crazy. That's completely insane that quickly it can happen. It just reminds us about the demand that there is for an alternative. As far as the schedule for today, Trump is not scheduled to speak till 7:30, and he's often late. But people in the room are kind of acting like Trump's about to come out. Let's listen.
Just about everyone we've talked to today talk about the economy and the effects of the economy. And
all right. So we don't know exactly what's going on. For people wondering what's going on here, this is an event in the state of Nevada where Donald Trump is going to be speaking at a volunteer recruitment event. I guess he's there to speak passionately and spiritually about how important it is for these people to volunteer for him. I don't know. It's all pretty weird, but we're going to watch it, and I assume we're going to hear a lot of the same stuff that we've heard from him many times before. It's going to be a lot of the greatest hits, which are not really, they're kind of flops, to be perfectly frank. I want to say a big thank you to Jason Sickmeyer for gifting a membership on my website and everybody who's been signing up on Twitch, which puts us at 10 out of 100 for the night. And I'll have more to say about that a little bit later. How long do I expect Trump to speak? Anywhere from 50 minutes to an hour and 40 minutes. I mean, it's sometimes it's quick. If the room, I'm guessing the reason that all of the fans are going so quickly is that they're having some temperature issues in the room. Trump doesn't do well when there are temperature issues. And so that may force him to keep it short. At the same time, sometimes he goes really, 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 really long in a Castro-like explosion of speech. So we will see. Thanks to Tiny Sir Jen for gifting 5 subscriptions on Twitch. By the way, I heard from Tiny Sir Jen that she picked up a copy of the book, and actually I can't reach it. Let me see if I can do this. I'm just going to lean, and I apologize for being rude here. Oh, I think I just pulled the neck hammy on the. Here is the book, and this is so nuts. I don't know how many people are aware of this. On a complete whim, I wrote a children's book about critical thinking. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, I don't have any experience. I don't know anything about publishing. I don't know anything. Okay, somehow we have sold 3,100 copies of this book. I don't even understand what's happening. It's a bestseller on Amazon. Right now, it's the Kindle version is the #1 bestseller in kids' detective books. The concept is like that it's a detective book. And then the paperback is the #1 bestseller in children's reference and nonfiction. Honestly, I don't even know how we got on those categories. Those aren't even the categories that I selected. Like, none of this makes any sense whatsoever. But 3,100 copies of this book have been sold in Kindle or in paperback, We are doing everything we can to meet there are requests for slight adjustments to the graphics. We're going to be making like a font change soon to make it a little more readable. We've got all these different things are happening. The reviews are an absolute delight. Susie finally got one for her 2nd grader. Brandy says it's great for her 8-year-old. Brian says it's fine. It's fine. 3 stars. It's fine. Okay. D. Ramsey says it makes a great gift. Mary Anna says it's a great way to introduce. Folks, I don't know. I have a podcast. I don't know anything about writing this stuff. Here's a negative review. Let's see. This one's good. Austin says, little critical thinking required. The pictures teach as much as the words. The children reflected in this book look as if this was written a half century or so ago. If that was the basis, I would not object to the artwork. I would hesitate to expose children to this. I don't even know what that means. It's a random selection of topics. What? Okay, so listen. Hey, this person didn't like it. By the way, not an authorized purchaser, so who even knows if this person bought the book. But this is the great marketplace of ideas. You can say it's fine and give it 3 stars. You can say it's bad and give it 1 star. You can give it 5 stars. Right now, we have a beautiful 87% 5-star rating. I'll take the good with the bad. And honestly, 3,100 people bought the book. We have only 36 reviews. So I'm with total peace and love. I do want to say to people, please review the book if you bought it, because the reviews are critical. It's nuts that 3,100 copies of this thing have been sold. It's also crazy to have only 36 reviews. So I'm not asking anybody to buy it, although by all means, go to davidpakman.com/book if you want it. But please review it if you have purchased it. That's so important, and it costs nothing to review it. People are saying 87% 5-star is actually really good. I don't know. I don't know anything about books. I mean, I read them. I recognize most words in the books I read, but I don't know anything about this industry. I don't consider it an industry. We make almost no money off of the book between printing costs and all of this different stuff. And then last thing about this, people have said they'd like to see it on Barnes & Noble. We're working on that. Here's the problem, and this is nothing I can control. Barnes & Noble, oh, sorry, somebody wants an Obama. Hold on.
Watch this guy, Pac-Man. He's good. Pac-Man.
Oh, sorry, that's not
He's
it.
Pac-Man.
That's Howard Stern. Hold on. Obama. There it is. The problem that we're having with Barnes & Noble is they're saying that they have an indefinite delay in approving new publishers, like we would be a publisher. So as soon as Barnes & Noble approves us, we will get it on Barnes & Noble. That's all I can say. I can't do anything else about it. We're doing everything we can. Absolutely everything we can. All right. Some super chats are coming in. Let's see what we've got here. Sean has gifted 5 YouTube subscriptions. I appreciate that. Puts us at 20. Peter says, the broken record, repeating all of his claims, never looks forward. My haiku to David Pakman show, as I do on the Young Turks. Thank you, Peter. Appreciate that. Jason says, I bought 4 copies of the book between my kids and gifts for friends. I'm bummed the ebook isn't compatible with Kindle Scribe for whatever reason. Kudos on best-selling children's author. So here's the thing. I don't know if I need to do something to make the book like when I look at the information on the book in the Amazon KDP thing, I'm looking at it right now. It says it's not compatible with some of these features. I don't know if I can turn that on. I want it to be compatible with Kindle Scribe and all of these things. I'm sorry. I just don't know how it works. Okay. But we would love to turn all those features on if we can. Bay Photo says, my copy arrived yesterday. I will review it. Let us know when parents come up to you, tears in their eyes, saying, sir, the book is banned in the schools. Okay. Can anybody get my book banned somewhere, please? Because I think it would be a really great thing for the book for it to be banned somewhere. I don't even know what the bans really do, you know? But if anybody can please ban the book, someone. De Sanctimonious maybe will ban it. I don't know. I would love to see this book banned. I think it would be useful. Matt says, I'm a member. I'm going to buy some books to donate. What other avenues can we support you? That is my goal, to support the program. Well, many of the ways you can support the program are completely free. If you're watching on YouTube and you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Where are we at? We're at 1.79. We could even get to 1.8 million tonight, I think, the way things are going, quite frankly. You can, what else can you, oh, this is the wrong guy. You can follow me on Threads. We're on there, share videos. I mean, most of the things you can do are free. Really, the most direct way to support us is to get a membership on my website, because we just pay 2% to swipe credit cards. The rest stays with us. That's the highest anywhere. That's the highest slice that we keep of all the platforms we're on. And we do have this code indicted again that you can use. Thanks to Mogyugi and Emily and Punk on a Bike for the Twitch Prime subscriptions. Here's an interesting question. Do I still drink cappuccino in the summertime? This is really a very good question. In the morning, if I have a coffee in the morning, it's usually not so hot, so I will drink cappuccino in the morning. However, in the afternoon, when it's hot, I can't say I developed this, but I'm drinking it, okay? You know when you go to these cafes and you say, give me a mocha, and they just pour in buckets of these chocolate syrups that are just so sweet, so sweet. What I've developed, and this has been in development for some time, in the sense that I just looked it up yesterday and I'm now doing it, is I have cocoa powder. If you try to dissolve the cocoa powder directly in milk or espresso, it clumps, okay? And I'm not looking for clumps in my coffee. So what you do is you take basically like a teaspoon of your cocoa powder. If you want it sweetened, this is the great thing about cocoa powder. You can control the sweetness. You don't need to be subjected to these Antifa-controlled baristas that are going to pump you full of sugar. You can say, I'm going to do a teaspoon of cocoa powder and then a tiny bit of sugar, or a quarter teaspoon, half teaspoon, whatever amount you want. And then literally just a spritz of very hot water. You mix that up, you've developed your own chocolate syrup. It's not really syrupy, but it's blended. And then you add that to a shot of espresso, shake it in ice, add the amount of milk that you want. It's an absolutely perfect drink. Absolutely perfect drink. You could have it no sugar. You can sugar it up. You can do whatever you want. Have I tried making affogato? Yeah. Here's the problem I have with affogato. And if we have Italian viewers watching right now, although it is late in Italy, here's the problem I have with affogato. You put hot espresso on vanilla ice cream, okay? Unless you drink this or spoon it super quickly, you've basically got like a melted ice cream espresso sludge. I don't like that. Lukewarm's not good for me. Iced coffee is great, and then hot coffee is great. But when you add, when I've made affogato, it just, I don't know. It's just something about it. Something about it. Thanks to Shorty, who is new member number 24 today, and also Twitch subscriber 666, which is really something, I must say. Okay, let's continue because that's too much time on coffee. I'm sorry. Alex says, I put honey in my iced espresso. That I've never done. Do I ever go for affogato? Okay, we just talked about affogato. Not avocado. Can I get another Obama? Where is my Obama here? I just lost it. Oh, here it is. Obama. So we have 2 Howard Stern drops now.
A David Pac-Man membership costs $6 a month.
True.
Watch this guy Pac-Man. He's good. Pac-Man. He's Pac-Man, man.
There you go. I was interviewed yesterday for one of the side shows on the Howard Stern Sirius radio channels. It's going to air sometime during the summer. They haven't told me exactly when yet. So we're going to keep... I'll let you know once I hear about it. I'll promote it and all of that stuff. I think it'll be really great. To be perfectly frank, I think it's going to be good. John Lieberman interviewed me, and it's really, really good stuff. Okay, we're standing by for Trump here. Let's look at a couple other things that I had for us. Let's go over here. People asking, am I on Threads? I'm on Threads at david.pacman. You can follow me there. I'm basically getting off of Twitter. Slowly but surely. I still have this curated media list of stuff on Twitter that's useful. Threads really needs lists, okay? But I am slowly moving off of Twitter over to Threads, so I would encourage you to follow me there. I think that would be a really great thing. All right, let's check out if we have anything from on the ground at this Trump event or anything that's going on. Let's see what we've got here. Christian hate preacher. I think we can skip for the time being. I don't know that we need that necessarily at this. There's enough hate preachers around. I don't know that we necessarily need to be the ones giving them attention. Crazy stuff happened on a plane. Oh, our friends, the good liars. I talked to this guy about the anti-drag law in Tennessee. Oh, this I want to listen to.
We are here in Nashville, Tennessee, talking to people about the recent law that passed limiting drag performances. How do you feel about that?
I think it's stupid. It's government overreach. I mean, let people live their life.
We are here in Nashville, Tennessee, talking to people.
Wow. That's pretty interesting. That's maybe not what you would expect. Interesting. Super, super interesting. Okay. Let's see what else we have. Freedom Caucus stuff. We'll talk about the Freedom Caucus thing and Marjorie Taylor Greene on Monday. Katie Hobbs. Oh, the conspiracy theory gateway pundit was quite literally following the Arizona governor, Katie Hobbs. Now, I want to make sure everybody knows, when I say the Arizona governor, the reason I call her that is because she won the election, not Kari Lake. And what I mean by she won is she received more votes. Super controversial, I know. She's being stalked by this gateway pundit, and I guess she told the guy to go F himself.
Is that you? How's it going? Jordan Conrad's with the Gateway Pundit. So, I have some questions about the election in Arizona. Maricopa County, they did these secret testing on the machines, which per the elections procedures manual, you were supposed to oversee, do additional testing on. Did you authorize those? Ms. Hobbs? Ms. Hobbs, what about the signatures on the mail-in ballot affidavits? Are you aware of what those look like? That they look nothing like the signatures of the voter? Ms. Hobbs, as Secretary of State, you oversaw elections in Maricopa County in Arizona. Are you?
Fucking rest, Jordan. I'm at the gym.
Give it an effing rest, Jordan. I'm at the gym. All right. I mean, honestly, it makes sense to me. Seems like a reasonable reaction. Thanks to Sean Fertel for gifting a membership at joinpacman.com. Let's listen to some of these great interviews.
First person I've seen for the win. That's great. I was told earlier Bellagio. I may have to.
Bellagio's good too. Bellagio.
All right, maybe my boss will Venmo me some money. We can do that. Yeah, you're live on the air. Thanks. Greatest thing about President Trump is what?
I think he's wonderful because he actually gets it. He knows that when our manufacturing left the country, we lost control of our lives, okay? All our jobs left with it. I'm a recruiter, and I was part of the mass exodus to Asia. And I had to find jobs for all the people in the shoe factory that no longer had a job because Monroe America had 8 factories and they had to downsize to 3. And so they hired me to downsize.
She should be the Commerce Secretary.
Management positions into sourcing instead of, factory managers. And so when he came on the scene, I thought, he's speaking my language.
He's pro-business. He's speaking my language. So hopefully we can get all that turned around. Now, where do you live in Clark County?
Yes, I do. And the other reason why I really like him is because he understands sovereignty. We need to have closed borders. And my daughter, unfortunately, was a lawyer in Jacksonville, Florida. And she's one of the murdered fentanyl casualties. Yes, and she could have gotten some bad drugs, but I'm not sure it wasn't deliberate because there were 2 people.
Oh my God. Listen, oh my goodness. It is a tragedy to have a child that dies of a drug addiction, a drug overdose. It is a tragedy. To say that they were murdered seems a bit much. Now, I am not going to understate the trauma that this woman likely went through. But to say she was murdered by fentanyl, or fentanyl as we call it, and that it was deliberate, why would you deliberately kill your customers? My God, I'm going to get away from this because this is depressing me.
Thanks to Asinine Frankenstein for the Twitch sub. Also, thanks to Nug Wrangler for gifting 10 of them. I really do appreciate that. And also, thanks to the great Lisa Rader for gifting a membership at joinpacman.com. You're number 37 today. A super chat from Reggie. Reggie says, I got the book on Kindle and paperback. Can't wait to check it out. Congrats on the sales, David. So awesome. Thank you, Reggie. Very much appreciate that. It's an incredible, incredible situation that we're... Oh, people want to go back to this woman. All right, I'll go back.
Deliberate.
Yes. And you know, we really saw what was going on when we had to go fight in the legislature this season. And I had a heads up from Florida because I'm working with a gal who's working with Nations for Action. And they are also working in the legislature to try and stop the bad bills in Florida. And Ron DeSantis actually passed a bad bill, a bad gun bill, because there was a clause in there that also allowed him to run for office and not have to give up the governorship when he ran, right?
Yeah, no, someone had clued me in on that a while back. And I didn't. It's almost so bizarre. I didn't believe it until they showed me. But you're absolutely right on that.
I wouldn't have believed it unless I had heard from Debbie.
I mean, guys, I can't do it. We just have to stop. Lila Lindell, with her first super chat ever, says, David, what's your opinion on Just Stop Oil disrupting the LGBTQ parade? Lila, I don't know anything about that, unfortunately. I wish I did. And my guess is that this relates to the question of, while we defend protesting, is the right place to protest against oil at the LGBTQ parade, given that it could be perceived as an anti-gay protest, even though it's actually an anti-oil protest? I don't know enough about it to say for sure. So I don't want to speak about something I don't know the details of, but I think that that's an interesting question. Thanks to Crowbars Forever for the Twitch Prime subscription. I really do appreciate that. Let's continue with a little bit more of what we were looking at over on Twitter, and then we'll get back to the Trump event, which is imminently starting. Let's see if we have anything else, even from on the ground. We may not. This is kind of a weird event. Marjorie Taylor Greene riding a horse. I really don't care about that. I'm going to skip that because it's so irrelevant to me. Oh, no. Oh, no, no, no. Russell Brand interviewing Bobby Kennedy and Cheryl Hines. Oh, man. People know that I've been to dinner with Bobby, and Bobby Kennedy and Cheryl Hines and I have a bunch of friends in common, and we've been at the same conferences a few times. I'm scared at what this is even going to be.
So where are the areas where the two of you are in plain alignment, and are there any subjects that you are comfortable sharing that you are not in alignment?
Well, if I'm being candid, where we differ is Bobby is very focused on facts and numbers and...
Could have fooled me.
And I understand feelings and people.
Oh my God.
I think in a different way. So even
during
the pandemic, I understand people being afraid. I understand people on both sides being afraid of getting the vaccine, of not getting the vaccine. People were terrified that they weren't going to be able to say goodbye to their mother or father that was passing away. There were so many feelings, overwhelmingly.
This is really bad. This is really, really bad. Cheryl Hines is awesome on Curb. This is a very bad both sidesing sort of thing. This is all bad.
Just filling the air and people's relationships, and everyone was disagreeing on a lot of things, and a lot of it was coming from just feelings that we were all having.
Does anybody know what she's saying? Is she basically trying? I mean, look at Bobby's face. What is she talking about? Dear God. Exactly. This is very bad.
I think that feelings should be addressed first, and maybe science second. So I don't know.
It's so crazy because when you hear, if you didn't know anything, you would think She's the feelings person and Bobby's the facts person. But all the facts he's asserting happen to be wrong. He's like, there's 100 studies that vaccines cause autism. Then you look and it's like, oh yeah, most of those don't say that. And the ones that do are very faulty. And some of those studies aren't even about vaccines and autism. It's like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Wow. That's really bad. Really bad. I don't even know what to make of that. It's insane. It really is. I don't even know if I should cover that on Monday. Thanks to Lilika for the Twitch Prime subscription. You're number 39 today. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. I will mention to folks, the most beautiful thing you could do on this delightful Saturday evening is grab yourself one of these doggone memberships at joinpacman.com. As you can see above my head, we have this coupon code indicted again. And when I type it in at joinpacman.com, it's criminal what happens, okay, to the pricing. Absolutely criminal. And I'll thank everybody who grabs one of those memberships today. The most recent person was Lisa, who gifted one. And it's going to be, I can only imagine, it's going to be a very crazy evening when Donald Trump finally gets to this completely deranged and unhinged event. Let's listen to a couple voicemails just to see what's on people's minds and what's going on. Actually, I don't know that I have what I need on voice. Oh, hold on. Let's see here.
Hey, David. You remember that absolutely ridiculous children's book that somebody wrote about Trump a few years ago? I wonder if once your book gains some more popularity and becomes more well known to people, if they're going to see it in the same light that we saw that book, because that thing was pretty crazy. All right. Thanks. Bye.
People will see my book as crazy. I don't know. I hope not. I hope they don't see it as crazy. If De Sanctimonious bans it, then we'll see. Couple other voicemails.
David, Jeremy in Oregon. I just ordered 2 of your books. Unfortunately, I don't know any kids, but I do know a few adults that think it's a joke that it's coming to them, but it's definitely not. They need it more than anyone. Thank you for what you do. Bye.
That's genius. Getting the kids' critical thinking book for adults because they don't know what the hell's going on. That's interesting. All right, here's Trump. So he's actually only 3 minutes late, which is extraordinarily rare. That almost never happens. Just bizarre. Very, very strange. Yeah. Trump doing the thing where he points to people in the audience, which is a great one. Let's see if I can read a couple of super chats before Trump speaks. Giovanni says, hey, David, just became a U.S. resident through marriage. It only took 7 months. It took my best friend and his wife 5 years under Trump. Was there a difference in policy? I have no idea on that, on marriage. No, I don't know about that. David, why do you think Fox News has been obsessed with Biden cocaine gate? Because they think it's interesting to say that it was Hunter's cocaine. It's absent any evidence. Bay Photo, must be hundreds of thousands of people in that little conference hall, sir. Crowd sizes like nobody has ever seen. Yeah, this is actually, there's 1 million people at this event hall for sure. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Big thank you to Joe Rader, Corey Jasmine, and Jack Pronsky. Thanks for grabbing those memberships on my website. We're going to hear from the great orange leader Trump. Hopefully he'll have some audio problems.
Further scream that his days are numbered. Trump, this is a gross prosecutorial misconduct. But I think, Eric, they're not like they lived up. I used to check it every week. Are they buying? Are they buying? And incredible. Oh, these people don't know what the hell they're doing.
Exactly. Let's hope that there are technical issues. I believe that Antifa is in charge of the audio at this event. And you know that can wreak absolute havoc on a Trump speech. It can just be completely insane. The red tie is Trump still just standing there? Wow. The song's just going on and on and on. A lot of people saying Trump looks particularly orange today. It might just be the lighting. I don't know. The reason he's standing there is he comes out very early in the song. And then it makes it so that he has to stand there hinging at the waist for a while. All right, let's listen. Here we go.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Wow, this is great. Have you seen what's going on outside? There are thousands of people outside. There are a lot of people out there. And, you know, this is really just a small gathering. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I'm here for you. This is a gathering of just our volunteers. They go out and you knock on those doors. And a poll just came out. We're leading here by 38 points. That's not bad. That's not bad. Nevada. And we've done well here, but we're leading. I've never seen such enthusiasm as we have this time around. We did great in 2016. We actually did much better in 2020. We got millions more votes.
Better in that he lost.
And we are, I've never seen anything like this. The level of love and the level of enthusiasm is something that I don't think I'm not sure that any political campaign has ever seen it.
I'm aware that the audio is out of sync, so what I'm going to do is just refresh it once. If it's still out of sync, then the problem is in the feed, okay?
And but this is really just for a special group of you, and what you've done, and again, and I think one of the reasons the enthusiasm is so great this time, even beyond what it was last time, where it was, I don't think there was anything like that, but this is substantially more because the people we have running this country right now are so bad. They're so evil. They're so.
I mean, listen, unemployment's only as low as it's been in 50 years. You know, it's really not going well.
You had something very special, very, very special. Almost 4 years. Can you imagine when you think of it? Time flies because now we're talking about primaries coming up in 6.5 months, 7 months. We're talking about an election that's going to take place very quickly. And we're going to win that election in numbers, the likes of which I think nobody has ever seen before. I see it.
Unlikely.
The level of support that we've had, the level of absolute enthusiasm. Nobody has ever seen this, and I can go even for the fake news because some of the stories they're putting out are just have been incredible. I mean, actually incredible in terms of they're saying the crowds we're getting are bigger than we've ever had. We were in South Carolina the other day. We had almost 80,000 people, and it was 100 degrees out. And nobody wanted to leave, including me. I didn't want to leave either. It was 100 degrees. It was in the afternoon, and it was an amazing scene. And you know, to be honest, we had very fair coverage of that. And but this is a different kind of a thing because this is meant for the volunteers of the campaign for the state of Nevada. And I just want to thank you. We have a couple of people that I have to introduce, and I want to introduce your state party chairman, Michael McDonald, has been my friend for a long time. Where's Michael?
This is the only unique part of the speech where he names people in the audience. The rest of it is a speech he's given about 100 times.
Not everybody. Republican National Committeeman Jim Dungraffenreid. Where's Jim?
That's risky.
You think that's an easy name, but as you get to know him, it becomes easier and easier. Thank you very much, Jim. Fantastic job, and we appreciate it. Republican National Committee woman, Sigal Chattah. Swami Vivekananda. And she's a great litigator, and she's going to be litigating when they start to cheat, because they'll be cheating like dogs. There's never been anybody that cheats like these people. They're sick. They are sick, and you are ready, right? Sigal, you are ready. She's ready. We got the real deal. Because a lot of people say, sir, will you be able to stop the theft, the cheating that these people do, the rigged election? And the answer is the number one question I get, And Sigal, we have some people all over the country. And last time I campaigned, but I assumed everything would be on the up and up. But they're not on the up and up. And you go back and you see where you're leading, and we here until 10 o'clock in the evening, all of a sudden you see these big dumps all of a sudden, 3:02 in the morning. It's a disgrace what took place. We have broken borders, and we have rigged elections, and you can't have either of those two if you're going to have a country. If you're going to have a great country, you can't have any of that.
Yep.
We have a man who's been with us from the beginning, a very important man politically, Assemblyman Ken Gray. Ken, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Suchin Tendolkar, chairman, somebody that is going to be a big factor in the success of what we're doing. Jesse Law. Jesse, thank you very much. To Virat Kohli. And also, we have many, many people, friends of ours from the media that have been really good to us, that really believe in us, and they've been, and they've let it be known because they want to save the country. We have a lot of friends here, and also the Nevada Republican Central Committee. I want to thank you all for being here. Very, very special people. And
I don't know why, but that's actually hilarious.
By a lot. We have a big job to do. This has been a hard state. I really believe it's a Republican state. I believe, as you know, I endorsed your governor. Your governor won. So that's a big advantage as opposed to the previous governor. That was not much of an advantage, I can tell you that. But we are going to do things, I think, that, and this is really throughout the country, like nobody's ever seen before. You know, they can be dishonest and they can lie, they can cheat, they can do whatever they want. The one thing they can't do is if we get massive numbers of votes, they can only go so far. So we have to slab it. We have to get massive numbers. They have to come out in numbers like they've never seen before.
In order to get full screen, we'll go over to the Rumble feed.
Because people get tired. They get bored, they get tired, or they didn't do a good job. As an example, President Obama got far fewer votes his second term. Obama. If you take a look at us, we got the largest increase of any president who's ever served. And they rigged the elections, they rigged the elections. Just one of those things. But the good news is they've shown how bad they are. And we can do things in terms of crime. We have to solve the crime problem, and you have it here. But some cities, when you look at New York, when you look at Chicago, when you look at San Francisco, what happened to San Francisco, Los Angeles, so many cities, all Democrat run. When you look at what's happened, we have to get involved. We have to help because the crime in this country has gone through the roof at a level that nobody's ever seen before. They walk in to stores now, they just put whatever they want in their cart and they just walk out. Everyone's afraid to do. You saw that clip yesterday where they're taking pictures of the people that are stealing and stealing them blind, robbing them blind. And the person taking the pictures got fired. Did you believe it? We should hire him. We should find out who he is. We should.
I was just in San Francisco last week. You know, it was fine.
Our leadership, just a short while ago, real median household income in Nevada. Think of this. It rose by $10,992. Nobody has ever had a number like that. Now you're losing that. You're losing it in big ways, but primarily because of inflation. Because you're getting a salary, and your salary is getting worthless. It's getting just worse. It's going down at a level that nobody's ever seen before. We've never seen levels like this where it's going down. So you think you're employed, and you think you're getting the same salary, but your salary's worth a lot less because of what they've done. And we're going to be drilling, and we're going to be reducing energy costs. And then we're going to be selling our energy to Europe and other places, and we're going to be reducing our debt and reducing taxes. You know, you got the largest tax decrease or largest tax cut in the history of our country, larger than the Reagan cuts, largest ever. We're going to be reducing taxes still further, and we're going to be paying off debt. We were all set to start. And then now,
of course, you're not going to reduce taxes and pay off debt. Remember, the deficit exploded under Trump. Also, the tax decrease was relatively modest unless you were extraordinarily wealthy.
China, although China tried to blame Italy, Spain, France, they were trying to blame everybody. But ultimately, I said where it came from. It came from the Wuhan labs. And I said that right at the beginning. See, there's a hat over there. I love the person who says Trump was right about everything. Actually, China. You're pretty close. You're pretty close. But it came right out of Wuhan. But think of that, $10,992. That's what you did, and yearly. And nobody has ever done, that's never been done in our country before. Now you're losing like amounts because of what they've done with inflation. So we're going to get energy. We're going to pay off debt. We're going to reduce taxes. We're going to then lower interest rates because interest rates are way too high. People can't. Anybody looking for a house? Because you might as well stop. You can't.
Does anybody know how the president lowers interest rates? Anybody know in the chat?
Need to do it because they think they have to kill inflation. But you can kill inflation in other ways also. You don't have to kill the people who are already being destroyed
telepathically
by what's taken place because we have a corrupt, incompetent leader in Biden. Everyone knows he's, and I wouldn't have said this 3 weeks ago. I wouldn't have said it. I was actually very kind to him. I was very kind to him, but now we can't be kind anymore because the gloves are off. The jar has been opened.
The jar?
He's taken millions of dollars from other countries like China. He's totally compromised. He's taken millions and millions of dollars from other countries. And in history, there's never been a scandal like this, but the fake news doesn't want to report it. There's never been in history anything like it. $10,200,000 from China, millions and millions of dollars from Ukraine. These are compromised people.
These are unproven allegations for which there is no evidence.
And they're using the weaponization of the DOJ, or I call it the Department of Injustice, the FBI, etc. Now a judge, a brilliant judge, highly respected yesterday, came out with a statement.
Top judge.
And a decision that the government cannot go to the social media because what they did was cheat, okay? What they did was cheat, and they cheated on the elections.
Remember that Trump's administration did the same thing. The stuff that they're talking about, Trump's administration did. They would ask social media to remove information, to censor. He wanted Chrissy Teigen to be banned after she insulted Trump on social media.
Incredible patriots. They went around on tape, hundreds of thousands of votes stuffing the ballot box. The courts are afraid to look. Everybody's afraid to talk. The only thing the Democrats are great at is disinformation.
Right.
As an example, they go after me, they indict me, but they say they really want to run against Trump. They don't want to run against Trump.
I did everything right and they indicted me.
A lot. And we had, speaking of polls, we had some polls just come out. We're leading in Texas by 50 points against DeSanctimonious. I call him DeSanctimonious because he was dead politically. He was gone. He was at nothing. He campaigned horribly. He came out. He begged me for an endorsement. He did a little bit of work on the impeachment hoax #1 and impeachment hoax #2. Did a little work like he was one of 200 people. Every congressman, virtually every politician. We got a unanimous vote. Think of it in the Republican Party because it's hard. Because we have guys like Romney and some other people in the Republican Party.
Super tough.
But in the House, we got a unanimous vote. I think it was 196 or 197 to nothing. That doesn't happen. And what happened here was incredible. The loyalty and the unity and everything else. But he was one of the people, and he went out, and on occasion you'd see him on television talking. Now, he did it for himself as well as for me, but we had hundreds of people doing it. He came to see me, and he wanted to know, could I support him, and could I endorse him? I said, listen, Ron, you're so dead that if Abraham Lincoln and George Washington came back from the dead, and if they put their hands and hearts together as prayed for, the pastor made a beautiful prayer just before we came up, and I appreciate that. But the pastor could have prayed. I think nothing is going to change. Ron, you are gone. And he said, if you endorse me, in the state of Florida, which we love, we all love Florida. And remember, Florida is easier than other places. You have the ocean and you have the sun. There's something about that works. But you have the sun too, but you don't have the ocean, I can tell you. You definitely don't have the ocean. Maybe someday you'll have the ocean. You never know.
That's not super
someday.
funny. Kind of scary.
Hopefully it's a long time away, right? Hopefully. But he said, if you endorse me, I win. I say, look, you know what? You're in big trouble. You haven't run a great campaign, but I'm going to endorse you. He became like, that same day, became like a rocket ship. and the other guy who had like a 40-point lead, had tremendous lead. He couldn't have been beaten. He was already measuring for carpets and for drapes in the governor's mansion. And Ron won, and then we got him past the man Gillum. He was running. He was going to be the next president of the United States. He was a good-looking guy, running, couldn't be stopped. Ron said, I can't beat him. I don't think I can beat him. I said, well, you said that about the primary too, and you won? He said, look, let's give it a shot. We did, I think, 2 or 3 rallies. I think 3.
Right.
Big rallies, thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And they came out. I said, you know, you're going to win. And he ended up winning. And then about 3 years later, they said to him, will you run against the president? And he said, I have no comment on that. I said, he has no comment. That means he's running. I said, that son of a bitch is running. I got him elected. So I'm not a big fan of his, and he's highly overrated. He's highly overrated. Remember, he's the one that wanted to cut Social Security. He's the one that wanted to raise the minimum age, and he voted on this. This isn't just... And the one thing you have to remember, when a politician comes out with an initial plan, and then they go into a corner because they're getting killed, because he's getting killed. He's like, his thing is going, whooshing. Well, he also has no personality. That helps, right?
You know, the truth is that he's basically flat. Like, this is the actual polling. So when Trump got arrested, he got a little bit of a spike. I know that's really crazy, but this is the United States. So crazy things happen. And then DeSantis dropped, but they've basically been flat. Like, Trump's been between 52 and 54 and DeSantis between 20 and 22. It's basically flat. I mean, DeSantis, I don't see having a path to this whole thing, but it's not true what Trump's saying.
So if anybody doesn't mind losing your Social Security or losing your Medicare, I suggest immediately go out and vote for this guy. But they always come back to that position. Just remember that. They will go for a campaign, for an election, they'll say something, but they always go back to the position. His record on COVID was more of a public relations stunt. He closed up the state, he closed up the beaches, closed up everything.
Tight.
Now, if you listen to him, he didn't close, but he did. But enough of that. Let me just say, we're leading by so much. The big battle is going to be, we got to beat the Democrats because they start off with an automatic number of votes, including in your state. We did phenomenally here last time and phenomenally in 2016.
Right.
But we have to, if we stop the cheating, we are going to win. I'm not even worried about the votes. I tell people, I say, I'm not worried about the votes. You know, they come up, sir, we'd like to support you. I said, I don't need any support. I don't want any help during the campaign. All I want is I want your help during the election. They used to call it election day. Now they call it election period because some of these damn elections are going for 62 days where they have the ballots piled up in corners and you say, what happened to the ballots that were in that corner? Oh, sir, we moved them to a different location.
That claim has been debunked, including even courts determining there was no evidence for that.
Day voting, paper ballots, and voter ID, right? Same day voting. And
remember, Trump voted early and by mail.
And when we do that, you know, France actually, I got him to do things for us with phone calls. But France had their election recently. They had 37 million votes. At 10 o'clock, it was over. At 11 o'clock, everything was counted. They had paper ballots, all paper ballots with voter ID. And they had a winner and they had a loser, and everybody went home, and now they're already campaigning for the next election. And that's the way we should be. How about this? They use machines for speed. Some of these elections go weeks and weeks and weeks. They don't know. You take a look at some of the states, like here, you take a look at some of the states where we think we're going to have a number within 2 weeks. Pennsylvania, we're going to have a number within 2 weeks.
You know, I see a lot of people in the chat saying France is a much smaller country. And of course, that's true. But there's another difference. The U.S. is 50 different states across many time zones, each state running its own election, different rules, et cetera, et cetera. France has one set of rules and it's all in one time zone. It's different in a lot of different ways.
To have COVID or the equivalent of COVID, but they use COVID in order to cheat. You have to have, ultimately, we got to win the election first. And if we win the election, we're going to paper ballots. We're going to immediately voter ID. And
obviously, that's not true because those are decisions that states make. And they're not going to just do what Trump says. They didn't do it in 2020.
Has been a killer. It's been an absolute killer. We're going to do that. The wall. So we did. I love it.
Yeah. Another interesting point is no electoral college in France. So you just tally up the votes. Similarly, in the United States, without the electoral college, it would have been like, oh, Biden's winning by 8 million. This is not close in any way. Whether there's massive dumps at 2 a.m. in a Pennsylvania toilet doesn't really matter.
You couldn't talk about the border because the border was so good in 2020. So I took it off. I said, maybe I can brag about what a good job we did, but we did a phenomenal job. It was no longer a topic of discussion. We did an even better job just recently, except they came in and they're letting everybody flow into our country. They're letting people coming in from prisons, jails, some of the worst convicts anywhere in the world. And it's
this part of the speech Trump has done many times. We've fact-checked it many times. It is completely untrue.
Different countries. They're letting their prisoners out. They're emptying up their mental institutions, emptying them out.
Don't you think that if Mexico or some other country was lining up buses outside of prisons, letting people out before their sentences are over and driving them directly to the border, don't you think we would have proof of that by this point?
If we didn't build the wall, we built hundreds of miles of wall. And after we had it all finished, I said, give me a report. Where else? Because when you build it, all of a sudden, sort of like water, all of a sudden.
Water.
And they said, sir, if we could do another 200 miles. So we built it and we had it all ordered. Sure. All we had to do is erect the wall. You saw that happen.
Right.
They could have done it in 3 weeks because when the election didn't happen, then it was up to them. And instead of doing it, they took it all away and they put it in faraway places where people can't get to us. And when Texas and Arizona...
This is very untrue. Those materials have been repurposed in a number of different ways in different states. We've covered it. We've had video. We've talked about it. These are all lies, but the crowd there doesn't know any better. That's why they're volunteering for Trump, obviously.
Why would somebody want it unless they want to destroy? Either they're stupid, which they're not, because you can't be stupid and cheat on elections like they cheat. Or
by the way, how funny is it that they're saying Trump is casting his vision for 2024? Yeah. Oh, this is a deeply spiritual vision that he's lining out here. I'll be back in 5, guys.
We're going to have a country. If you take a look at Saudi Arabia, we have more than Saudi Arabia. We have more than Russia. We had a find in Alaska many years ago, and we were going to be drilling in Alaska, the likes of which nobody had. We think it's probably bigger, Anwar it's called, probably bigger than Saudi Arabia, probably, but right around that size, but maybe bigger. And we were all set to start. Reagan couldn't get it approved. Bush, of course, couldn't get it approved. Nobody could get it approved. I got it approved. And one of the first things they did is they ended that, and they ended the Keystone Pipeline. 50,000 jobs, but much more importantly than the jobs. And think of it, the union, head of the union, the pipe union, the union that where all the men were, 48,000 people, the head of that union was a Democrat who fought hard for Biden. And then the first day he did, the first thing, I think it was the first move he made, he ended the Keystone Pipeline. Those 48,000 people were decimated. They moved their homes, they moved everything. They were decimated. We had the Keystone Pipeline ended. We had Anwar, most importantly, Anwar. Think of it. We would have been making so much money for this country with the liquid gold right under our feet. Your energy bills are through the roof. And everybody's, not only the cars. And now you're forced to buy all electric cars, Maybe you want to drive for a little bit longer than an hour. There are some people that want to drive for a little bit more than an hour, It's like... I'll tell you, the one business that's great, though, I don't know if anybody has a little loose cash, but go out and buy a tow truck business, because tow trucks are doing very well right now because all the cars are getting stuck all over the place. Let's tow them to an electric charger so we can drive for another 59 minutes before that one goes up. And you know what? You should have electric cars, but you should have all types. You should have hybrids. You should have combustion. You should have whatever the hell the market will pay for.
We have that now.
That's what you should have, but a lot of people don't.
Is it really the market if gasoline is subsidized or taxed?
I have a friend, he always loved driving to Washington from a certain state. He's a congressman. Always loved it. And now, but he felt an obligation to buy an electric car. Even though if you think of it, the batteries, making those batteries and all of the problem is far worse in terms of the environment if you're a big believer, which I'm a believer in the environment.
That doesn't appear to be true.
Clean water, more so than anybody. But he said, I'm going to buy an electric car. So now he had to stop 5 times to get... And the stop is longer than the drive, you know. And you know what he did? He ended up gaining a lot of weight. He stopped and he ate like a dog for an hour and a half.
Like a dog.
We're going to deport the criminal, illegal aliens that have come into our country quickly. We're going to obliterate the deep state. We were doing a good job. I fired Comey.
The entire crowd believes in the deep state.
Get rid of him. It was bad news. And very early on, somebody said, oh, why didn't you do it fast? I did it right at the beginning. You know, he has a long-term contract. I fired Comey. That was a good one. That's when we found out about the insurance policy, just in case that she lost, Hillary. You know, we call her Beautiful Hillary now, right? We changed her name because she's a beautiful woman. We call her Beautiful Hillary. You know why? Because I'm using the word crooked. I don't like doing the same word for 2 people. We're using the word crooked for Joe Biden because Joe Biden is the most crooked president in the history of our country by a factor of hundreds.
Dear
He's
God.
a crook.
Former president.
We're going to end all of the things you see and ban critical race theory and transgender ideology from our schools, from our university. We're banning it. We're banning it. What they do.
Ban it.
What they do is so horrible. And, you know, one of the things that I've been talking about, you have to say before anybody, we are going to end men joining women's teams. Let's fight. No more men in women's sports. You saw the swimming records, they're being obliterated.
Oh, no.
Records that stood for 19 years, they're off by about 1/8 of a second. But they're going to be broken, and these young ladies are out there swimming at 5 o'clock in the morning before school. They're going to break that record. And then a guy comes along and breaks the record by 38 seconds. The greatest is the weightlifting, though. I don't know. It's like 219 pounds is the record. They add on 1/4 pound and a quarter, a little tiny, they put like it's a piece of dust on the side of each. And a woman's there, her parents are there, her boyfriend's there, they're all watching. They're going to watch her. And she gets up and she lifts that barbell, and that barbell's even breaking a little bit. It's bending, steel barbell. And she's up almost to the top, and she's getting ready. That final push. She's got 1/4 pound, just 1/4, that's all.
This is
Should've
a
been
former
less.
president.
And can't do it. Just can't. Ah, dead, Mom, I can't do it. Can't do it. Boom. Didn't break the record. Then the guy comes up. Have you lifted before? No, I haven't. Oh. You haven't lifted? No. No, but I've always wanted to, but I'm in the competition. Oh, good. And he gets over the thing. Bing, bong, bong, bong. And
This
they break the
story
record
is
like by
nuts, huh?
103 pounds. It is so demeaning to women. It's so horrible. It's so stupid.
It's horrible.
It's like, you know, I say it's like April Fools. So many of the things they have, open borders. Who wants open borders? Who wants to have people coming in?
We don't have them.
Who wants people coming in from foreign countries? Who wants it? Who
Foreign-
wants to have
Legally?
Who wants to have elections? Think of it, where millions of votes come in. You don't know where the hell they're coming. They send out millions and millions and millions of ballots all over the place. Then they come back. Nobody has any idea where they're from. It's a rig. It's a horrible, horrible thing. And the Democrats, you know who knows it better than anybody? The Democrats know it. And in fact, Democrats, the actual voter, they
Hey,
want to do
guys,
something.
I hate to pause this, but I'm getting some insane report that Trump said he wants to deny entry to communists and markers into our country. Is this possibly true? What this was yesterday, I guess. Let's listen to this. Oh God, I gotta turn off my ad blocker. Was Trump this unhinged that this I have to see?
I will also order our government to deny entry to all communists and Marxists. Look, we have Marxists.
Okay, so that's a glitch. And let's see this next one. This is crazy. Oh wait, that's not the one. The second one here. Okay, that one's glitching, interestingly. Oh, here we go.
Government to deny entry to all communists and Marxists. Look, we have Marxists, fascists, communists. They're pouring into our country. We are going to deny them access to our country. Now, the one problem.
Oh, that's too much. We're going to deny the markers access to our cunny. That's something I can get behind, sir. Very, very important declaration. Wow.
The Sanctimonies voted to fund Yucca Mountain as a dumping ground for nuclear waste. So DeSantis wants to use Yucca Mountain, which affects your whole state. That's not just a little area. That stuff is all over the place. What a mess. So he wants Yucca Mountain as a dumping ground for waste. Now, he's not going to say that. I don't know how he gets out of it.
Big
but he's not gonna,
massive
it's like in
dump.
Iowa. We had a tremendous crowd yesterday in Iowa. This is a crowd of volunteers, but Iowa, we had a tremendous crowd of people. It was great. But I told him, I said, they want ethanol. And he was against ethanol. And when he was against ethanol, he just lost Iowa. But now he wants to go back, and maybe he wants to rethink ethanol. Let me tell you, he's not going to do it. And by the way, in Iowa, we're winning by 38 points, too. So, but if you don't mind nuclear waste dumped in your backyard, I suggest you vote for Ron DeSanctimonious, okay? They say no. I'd say no, too. I say no, too. Look, we are a special group. This is a very special group of people.
That's true.
I really appreciate it that you're here. I actually diverted. I was going someplace else. I wanted to come and say hello to Michael and all of the people. And this is the most, and by the way, Seagal, this is the most important thing you've ever done. I tell you, you have to be able to stop this. Just like the success you had on that other very big fight. You had a tremendous legal success, but you have to be able to stop it. This is the most important election in the history of our country, okay? And I used to say that about 2016, and I didn't say it so much in 2020 because we had it going well. Little did we realize that everything he said was a lie. He said energy, sure, we love energy. Well, he doesn't love energy. He doesn't love religion either. There's nobody who's religious, Christian, any form of religion that can vote for this guy because they are against religion. You take a look.
Trump's deeply spiritual. You can tell how important his relationship with Jesus Christ is.
They are against religion. They're against so much that we all stand for. So I only say this. This is the most important election in the history of our country. We're going to have a country that's going to be greater than ever before, or we're going to have a country that's going to be a Venezuela on steroids. Now, Venezuela, think of that. Venezuela is becoming very rich. He won't take the great oil that we have under our feet, our liquid gold, but he's taking the tar from Venezuela. And you know where it's refined? There's only one refinery in the whole world that can do it. It's in Houston, Texas. So all that stuff is spewing into the air, and they talk about all of the things about energy. We are now making Venezuela, the few remaining people, which is mostly because so many of them have left, and they'll never be able to go back. So we're making a dictator from Venezuela who was ready to fold. If I were there, he would have been gone by now. He would have been gone in many different ways. We're making him a very rich man, very rich man. We are taking oil. It's not oil, it's really tar. It's very heavy, very horrible. And refining it is a big problem. It's more costly to refine it than it is to sell it. But with using Venezuela, because I use Venezuela, would be Venezuela on steroids, but I can't say that anymore because Venezuela is becoming a very rich country, and the people that are benefiting are the people that we've been trying to get out for years, the dictator and dictators, because we had one before, now we have another one. My hat's off to them because they've done a great job. They've conned Joe Biden into doing something that's unthinkable. But think of it. People have fled Venezuela, and now Venezuela is going to be a rich country for the people that run it. Because
people may not know this, but Trump's background is actually in Latin American foreign policy.
Inexpensive and not environmentally prohibitive. Thank you. That's true. It's just something that is so crazy. All of these things, I could go through 50 of them. It's literally the opposite. Every single thing. We should have a border. We should have great elections. We should do this. We should do that. We got to have voter ID. We got to do things properly. Our country is a mess. We are a failing nation. We're a nation in decline. We are soon, if we win the election, and we have no choice, if we don't win the election, this upcoming 2024 election, we are going to be a country no more. I actually think it will be a country no more.
There you
That's
go.
how bad it is.
If Trump did, you heard it here, folks. If Trump doesn't win in November of 24, the United States will cease to exist. Totally reasonable prediction.
Country, it will be greater than ever before for a reason. We've seen how not to do it. If we did it traditionally, where we took over, people would say, oh, they'd always be complaining. Now, many of those people that would have voted Democrat are going to be voting for us. You saw that a poll just recently came out.
Maybe.
We're doing great with young people. We never did great. As Republicans, we never did great. Now we're leading with young people by 16%.
We're doing great with African Americans.
We're leading with women. We're leading with, as they call it, suburban housewives. You know why? Suburban housewives, they want security. They want a border. They don't want everybody being killed in the cities and then moving out. They don't want low-income housing built right next to their house that they're so proud of, which is their next move, which they're doing. So, look, I just want to say this. We have a chance to make America great again. We have a chance to make America greater than ever before.
Do it.
I believe it's the last chance. I believe it's truly the last chance. And I think that if we don't do it, I think our country is doomed to a tremendous and horrible failure. I just want to thank you all for volunteering and for being with us. And we love you. And we'll be back many times. And we've got a couple of very big rallies scheduled over the next couple of months. And we'll have 60, 70,000 people at these rallies.
You will not.
But I thought it was very important for me to veer over to here and be with Michael and everybody, because I want to thank you personally. Now get out there and knock on doors and do all the things that you're doing.
Right.
We appreciate it. Make America great again. God bless you, and thank you, Pastor, very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
There you go. Man, what a lunatic. All right, so Trump, again, a very deeply spiritual and impassioned Trump, laying out so didactically and articulately his vision for the United States' role in the world over the next 4 years. Who am I kidding? He didn't do any of that stuff. Another pathetic speech, but at least it was short. Speaking from 7:33 East Coast to 8:12. That's 12 plus 27. That's only a 39-minute speech, folks. A 39-minute speech. Trump's shortest speech in a very long time. And a welcome turn of events, really, for just about everybody who's watching this channel. That's for damn sure, because these things... I mean, listen, you get just as much out of 40 minutes as you do out of an hour and 40 minutes, which is this guy doesn't know anything.
Spoke for roughly...
Oh, let's listen.
About 45 minutes here in Las Vegas. Thanks for joining it, Brian Glenn, as we're live covering President Trump's appearance here at this recruitment volunteer.
All right, well, we'll see if they interview any people. In the meantime, listen, let's take a few phone calls just because, I mean, listen, we didn't make it to 100 website members. We only got to 51. But I want to hear from people. I haven't heard from people for a little while, so let's do it. We do calls on Discord at davidpakman.com/Discord. I'm going to get the waiting lobby going. And let's see here. We'll start live calls July 8, 23. Let's take some calls just because I do want to hear from people. Okay, so if you want to talk to me, tell me what's on your mind, talk about how great the children's book is or whatever, you can go to davidpakman.com/Discord. Join the waiting lobby. I'll let people queue up and then we'll hear from them. Yeah, a lot of people commenting on the duration of the speech. I don't know. I guess Trump didn't really want to be there, but it's Trump's world and we're all kind of living in it. You know, that's really what it is. If you're heading out, make sure you're subscribed on YouTube and followed on Twitch and all of that stuff, so you'll know when we stream again and sort of all of those things that go on. If you are on the Discord right now and you want to talk to me, you do have to request to speak. You have to request to speak if you want to talk to me. That's important. Jimmy sending a super chat. Love the show. Thank you for all you do. Let's go to Phil from California first. See what's on Phil's mind here in this after a 40-ish minute speech from Trump. Phil in California, what's going on?
Hi, David. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Great. Long-time listener, second-time caller.
Thank you.
I actually live in rural California, and is quite the conservative bastion out here.
I bet.
And I am kind of curious. I live up in Northern California, and what should we do about trying to be active in our community when our community voted for Trump like 62%?
Well, the community may have voted for Trump by 62%, but there's usually very, very little engagement with the local decisions that are made. So there's always a great opportunity to make something happen, to affect some change if you get involved wherever you can, right? It might be school board. It might be on some local initiative. It might be whatever it is. Don't be dissuaded from getting involved at the more local level in things that might make a real difference to people's lives day to day. Just because they voted Trump in the general election, they may not be paying attention to those local elections.
Yeah, true. One of the things that I noticed is in our county is they recently passed, they want to do hand counting for our ballots now. And it's just kind of concerning with our local government going up to people like Mike Lindell for advice for elections and stuff.
Well, listen, the upside is if they're going to Mike Lindell, you can go to someone competent. So that's the one thing I would say.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
All right, Phil. Thank you very much. We're going to keep hearing from people. Let's listen to some of these interviews.
Directly to the Mac and Bebo. It's no filter. I love him.
We love God. We love our family. We love America. And we love our President Donald Trump. God bless him too.
Vietnamese American for Trump forever.
Forever. He recognized he loves you guys. I know he did. I love you too. Thank you so much. Good seeing you.
All right. Very, very exciting stuff. Let's go to Risto from Finland. We're taking live calls in the Discord. DavidPakman.com/Discord if you want to talk to me. Risto from Finland. Welcome. We are live. What is it, like 3:30 in the morning there? 2:30 in the morning?
Hello. Yes, something like that.
What are you doing up so late? I'm curious.
Playing some games, watching your stream.
All right. Well, welcome. What can I do for you?
Okay. Here in Finland, we just had parliament elections, and we have several parties in the cabinet and parliament.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking, would it ever happen that US would have more than two bigger parties?
Well, the impediment to that is how campaigns are financed in the United States, and that we have a first past the post system, and we don't have a proportionally representative parliamentary or otherwise proportional system. It certainly could happen, and I hope that it will in the United States, that we have more than just this two-party duopoly. But campaign finance would have to change, the structure of our elections would have to change, and our system of government, quite frankly, or the House and Senate, would have to be reorganized. I hope it happens, Risto, but I'm not holding my breath.
Okay, thank you, sir.
My pleasure. Risto from Finland. Definitely try to get some sleep. Let's go to William from Las Vegas. William from Las Vegas, welcome to the program. What's on your mind today?
How you doing, David? First off, I want to say thank you for publishing both your white paper and your book. I just got my book today in time for our road trip, so my son is excited to read it. I kind of censored him. I said, don't read it quite yet. Wait till we get in the car and on the road.
Right. That brings tears to my eyes, sir.
Tears to my eyes, too. So let me ask you real quick, sir. With the new Threads application coming out right now.
Yes.
We're entering into the election season, or just about going into it right now. How do we effectively communicate with young groups, because I still believe that the youngest voters saved our bacon in the last election. How do we still move that forward with a new application and system, weaning them from Twitter and the madnesses that is on Twitter?
We have to be on every platform. Okay. So I can't do this all myself, but I hope to be setting a model. What the young people went to TikTok. TikTok blew up. We are now on TikTok. We have over 500 million followers. We now get just as many views on TikTok as we did on YouTube. Why? Well, because the young people are there and they're watching the content. We have launched on Snapchat. We now are on Threads, and we're going to start posting content there. We can't cede any platform to the right because we know what they will do. Did I say 500 million? I meant 500,000 followers on TikToks. I apologize. We have to be first movers on a lot of these platforms and not cede that, oh, it's just right-wing stuff going on there. We've got to put ourselves in there.
I love it. I'm following you on all platforms that I have, to include the Spanish-speaking channel on YouTube. I don't speak Spanish, but I'm still subscribing because I want to get that algorithm up there so we can get your voices out there.
How are you liking Threads so far?
What's that, sir?
How are you liking Threads so far?
I like it. It seems like a lot of random people that I don't necessarily know who they are in my feeds. But I'm targeting who I'm listening to. So like you, Tyler Cohen, Scott Galloway. I'm kind of targeting where I'm listening,
right?
And I think that that'll feed my algorithm to make more sense out of it.
Yeah,
is that about the same for you?
I think that one of the great things about Threads right now is because it's smaller. I mean, listen, 90 million users, but the political space I'm in is still smaller on Threads. I actually am seeing the comments from everybody right now, which is not a common thing. Like Twitter became totally impossible to follow because it's just so many people are sending comments. Right now, if you follow me on Threads, I'm actually seeing what you're posting and what you're saying to me. So for now, at least, it's a whole new way to hear from the audience, which I think is great.
I love it. So it makes me happy knowing that you're reading the threads that I'm posting or replying to
I'm
you
watching
on, so
what you're
great.
posting very closely. It's actually a little suspicious, the stuff you've been posting, but we'll talk about that off air.
Okay, sounds good,
All right,
sir.
thank you very much. Thank you. All right, William from Vegas. That's a joke, by the way. That's just a joke. Okay, let's go next to, is it Chappy or Chippy or Choppy? I don't know exactly how it should be pronounced.
Hey there. It's Chappy.
Chappy, oh, okay.
Yeah. So enjoying the show. Been following it some time already. I'm also from Europe, so it's really late here, but the day off, so it's fine.
I love it.
Anyway, so I mean, it's what Trump said. It's basically what he says every time, isn't it? And I was wondering because the streamer Destiny, if I don't know if you're aware of him.
You're talking about Cuban-American streamer Stephen Kenneth Destiny Benel Goranson II?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I know
yes.
him. I know him.
I think he's some kind of fascist. I'm not sure.
A fascist? That's not been my experience.
I don't know. I heard different things about him.
Huh.
Anyway, he said that that Trump might split the vote for the Republicans. Is that are you of the same opinion? Or do you think
well,
he
I
might just
don't
rally
know
all the
what
Republicans?
Stephen Kenneth Destiny Benel Goranson II meant. What I would say is, if Trump doesn't win the nomination and runs third party or write-in, he will absolutely split the vote. Did Stephen mean that as the Republican nominee, he might split the vote?
I think he said that DeSantis and Trump are basically running the party into the ground. And if Trump doesn't get to be the nominee, he will just run third party and will steal the votes. Basically,
I hope that
for the
happens. I
Republicans.
think in that scenario, absolutely Trump would split the vote. I just think Trump has a pretty easy path to the nomination right now.
Yeah, so you would say it's probably just going to be Trump again.
I do think so.
All right, thank you.
What country are you calling from, out of curiosity?
From Germany.
Oh, Germany. Okay, very good. My sister's going to be in Germany in a couple of days. She has no idea what's going on, so that'll be interesting.
I don't know either, so that's fine.
You don't know her. Fair. Okay, good. I'll let her know not to worry about you.
All right.
All right, Cheppy. Thank you very much. Appreciate the call. Let's go next to Tristan from Kansas. Tristan from Kansas, welcome to the program.
Hey, David, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hope there's not too much background noise. Just real quick, I want to compliment your veneer. I guess that's the right word. I've been a listener for a while. I just really appreciate how professional you are.
Thank you.
Do it almost perfectly. So
I appreciate that.
Also, I also want to shout out how you always refer to Vosh and Destiny by their full names. I just think that's really funny.
Well, I don't want, Destiny could be anybody, right? Destiny could be, I'm not going to say who else Destiny could be, but if you just say Destiny, you would have, you can conceivably not have any idea who that is.
Yeah. Anyways, my question for you is, you had on an expert recently about AI.
Yes.
And
who had a very particular view, and we're going to have someone on who has a less pessimistic view of AI.
Good, because that's, I'm not going to lie to you, the previous person you had on about AI was a lot more optimistic, and I would go to that video and listen to it because I have like an irrational fear of AI because of how much they're just fear-mongering about it at this point. And I understand there's a lot of concern.
Yeah. So you're referring to Eliezer Yudkowsky, who basically said AI might kill everybody. We're going to have a follow-up interview with another expert, and they'll present a different view, you know?
Fantastic. Because my hypothesis, what I think is going on is this is definitely a gray area, and that even the experts are unsure what the future looks like. So the gaps are being filled with all kinds of just basically, I mean, it's opened the floodgates for conspiracy theories, for basically anything, where it's like it's blurred the lines between some of the articles I see about AI. I had to tether my algorithm to not feed me anything related to AI because it's constantly telling me things that sound unbelievable. It almost sounds
There's
religious.
a lot of sky is falling stuff going on in the space of AI. So I think it's good to have a different, you know, the people who have the view of Eliezer would say, why would you want a more balanced perspective if the truth is it's going to kill us? Wouldn't we want to know that? But of course, smart people disagree with that.
Exactly. And as a former conspiracy theorist, it's very hard for me to I take it all with like a healthy skepticism. I try to read the information as it comes to me, and I try not to jump to any conclusions. I look at it for what it is, what it can be used for, how it can be abused. Well, there's so many people who will take that and they'll say, oh, it's going to completely manipulate our reality and it's going to merge with our consciousness and all this crazy Alex Jones bullshit.
Well, real quick, what conspiracy theory did you believe?
Well, I used to be like very religious, and I used to believe that AI was some kind of, I don't even want to get deep into it because I don't want people, it's one of those things I don't even like thinking about it. Wow. It just has to do with like antichrist bullshit. Excuse my language.
Like it was the mark of the beast or something?
Yeah, like consciousness and like AI becoming conscious and merging with our consciousness and creating some kind of hive mind bullshit. It's ridiculous.
Well, listen, like AI could wipe us out, but to assume that's the thing that's invariably going to happen seems like maybe it's a bit much. Tristan, I appreciate the call. We're going to do that interview very soon.
Okay.
All right, there goes Tristan from Kansas. Let's go next to Dr. Andy. Now, Dr. Andy, are you a medical doctor or are you a doctor of education like Jill Biden trying to trick us into thinking you're some other kind of doctor? What's the deal with that? Oh, God, Dr. Andy hasn't even accepted my invitation. Dr. Andy, please. Here's Dr. Andy.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hello, David. I'm a first-time caller.
And what kind of a doctor are you?
Time now. Oh, I just dropped out of medical school.
You dropped out of medical school?
Yeah, I'm going to go to art school next month.
So in what sense are you a doctor?
Oh, my family wanted me to become a doctor, but, you know.
But you go by Dr. Andy, it sounds like?
Yeah.
But you're not a doctor.
I just want to. No.
Okay.
I like your show though a lot.
I appreciate
I've been
that.
listening to your show since when I was in high school, like in the 11th or 12th grade. Can you hear me?
Why did you drop out of medical school?
It's a long story.
Mm-hmm. What's the short version?
Short version is that I wanted to be a vet, but I don't know no more.
You wanted to be a vet?
Yeah, but I want to be a zoologist though.
But you know that
I don't know no more.
veterinarians don't go to human medical school, right? Were you in medical school and you were like, when do we work on dogs? And then they were like, no, that's veterinary school.
So I'm not interested no more. I got a question to ask you though.
Okay.
I'm getting the suspicion. You heard of Robert Kennedy, right? Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Absolutely. I've had dinner with him.
Yeah, interesting. I'm getting the suspicion that he might be, I don't know, but that he might be cozying up with the MAGA movement, or that he might be some grifter or some charlatan.
What's giving you the impression? Is it that all of the harebrained former Trump advisors say they like him very much? Is that what's giving you that idea?
Yeah, that's what's giving me the idea of it.
Listen, Andy, I've got a bunch of videos on this, so I don't want to like retread worn ground, but you're absolutely correct. Can I tell you a funny Bobby Kennedy anecdote that I think, regardless of my views about his politics, he wouldn't mind me telling you? Can I tell you that?
Yeah, you could tell me.
Bobby Kennedy, when I went to dinner with him, did something I've never seen anyone do, which is he took a baked potato and he ate it with his hands like it was a finger food. He grabbed the baked potato and he dipped it in various sauces. There was like a ranch dressing and different things. He picked it up like you would a French fry or a chicken nugget, and he was just dipping it. And I've never seen anybody do that. It was sort of like in Seinfeld when George uses a knife and fork on a Snickers bar or whatever. It was absolutely fascinating.
That is fascinating, though.
Yeah.
Oh,
all right, doctor, I will let you go. All
though.
right. Thank you very much for the call.
Yeah, you're welcome, man.
All right. Yeah, an important, instructive phone call. If you want to be a vet, you should learn before going to medical school that vets have their own schools. Very, very important thing to know. Let's go next to, oh my goodness, I meant to go to Lily from New Hampshire, but I accidentally disconnected her. Let me invite Lily back. I'm sorry, Lily. I was trying to go to you. Here's Lily. Okay, welcome, Lily from New Hampshire.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, hi. Sorry. I'm from Boston, so I really enjoy the Sox. You're watching?
I'm not watching. I haven't seen a Sox game in forever, and because I don't have the local channel anymore that had every game, I barely ever would even have the chance to. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. First of all, big fan of the show, especially being another Bostonian. So are you going to be covering anything from the what's it called? Sorry, from the shooting and Marjorie Duggan at the high school in Fort Lauderdale? I know they're doing some. What's it called? The parents were going into the high school. Are you guys going to cover that?
I don't know the exact incident you're talking about, and over the weekend, I tend not to follow any of the news that's going on. So I'm going to have to inform myself about that.
It was from that school shooter in Florida at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. I was just wondering
you're saying from years ago.
Yeah, the school resource officer Lily just got a verdict of not guilty.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah. I don't know that that's necessarily a story I would have much to say on,
Yeah, I was just curious because I know you cover a lot of this. Anyway, so yeah, big fan. My brother's in the National Guard, so I just thought you found that interesting. And also my aunt was actually an ambassador, so United States ambassador.
I appreciate that. What are you doing anything in particular tonight, Saturday night?
I'm not doing anything particular. I'm not anything on Saturday night. No,
Not having drinks or anything.
No, no.
No drinks. All right. Well, Lily, I really appreciate the call. Thank you.
Thank you.
All
Talk
right.
soon.
There goes Lily. Let's go next to Queenie. We're going from Lily to Queenie. Queenie, welcome to the program. What's on your mind today? Queenie, welcome to the program. I've invited you to speak, but you must accept in order to join the discussion. Queenie, you are now on the air. It is your turn to speak. Queenie, you probably have the wrong audio device selected, but if you select the right one, we will all be able to hear you. And last chance for Queenie to fix your audio. Okay. Let's go instead to Max from Albuquerque. Max from Albuquerque, welcome to the program.
Hey, David, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hey, man, I have some election-related questions for you here.
Okay.
I just want to get your opinion on a few different things. So why are Republicans following Trump to near certain political doom, considering the last outcome of the last 3 elections or so now here?
Most of the people that are still supporting Trump have not actually sat down and done the math you've done, which is, okay, in 2018, it didn't go so well. In 2020, it didn't go so well. And in 2022, MAGA didn't do so well. So they're just not thinking about it logically the way you are, quite frankly. There's that, and they're basically cult followers.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. And right now, where are you at on your percentage of chance for Biden winning versus Trump?
I think if it's Biden, Trump, even money bet, I'm betting Biden. It's not like a gimme, but I would guess it's like, 55-45, Biden's going to come out ahead is my guess, assuming the economy is roughly the way it is today.
Got you. Okay, 55-45.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
All right. And also, why doesn't DeSantis, in your opinion, take a more aggressive or just really any kind of different stance against Trump, given that he hasn't really risen in the polls and it's not really looking all that great for him? Do you think he's holding out hope that Trump's going to get in so much legal trouble that the Republicans suddenly turn away from him?
I think that is exactly what DeSanctimonious is doing, because you're right. He is criticizing Trump, but he's not criticizing him as hardcore as he could. DeSantis has 21% right now. We've got the poll up on the screen. Polls, average of polls. DeSantis wants to be there in case Trump is so stuck in the mud with indictments and arrests and trials. And he doesn't want to attack MAGA too much, because then they won't go to him if Trump bails or simply can't stay in the race. I think that's the shot he's taking, but donors are not thrilled and they're starting to pull their support. I think the DeSantis campaign may implode very soon.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, man. And one more, if you would.
Sure.
How much more of a percentage of a chance would you give a candidate like Tim Scott or Nikki Haley in a hypothetical matchup against Joe Biden if they were hypothetically to be the Republican nominee?
It's so hard to say, and I'll tell you why it's so hard to say.
Got you.
Their polling support is so low that you get into the inaccuracy of small numbers when you do a poll that says Biden versus Haley or whatever. So I genuinely have no idea.
Gotcha. All right. Thanks so much for the questions, man. Love the show. Keep up the good work.
All right, Max, you gave me the questions, but I gave you the answers, and I'm glad to do that. A little bit of question answer confusion there, but we love it. I'm told Queenie's audio is fixed. Queenie, welcome back. Please, I hope your audio is now working. This will have to be the last attempt.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hi, my name's actually Christina, and I actually heard from you from my boyfriend, but
you heard from me.
I know I heard about you from my boyfriend.
Okay.
But so my boyfriend and I both work at a place where, unfortunately, everyone in our job wears like Trump shirts 2024, and obviously
okay. So listen, Queenie, Christina, don't tell me where you work, but what industry is this?
Sports bars.
Okay,
like a sports
all right, fair. Okay, go on.
So everyone, like, he works more in the kitchen, so he doesn't have to deal with the customers that I deal with.
That's nice.
But I work directly with the customers.
Okay.
And I'll get customers that'll be like, yo, are you voting for Trump? And I'm like, do you really want to know who I'm voting for? Or like whenever like all the like indictments go on, they always like make comments about how the blue people are so stupid and that they're like rigging the election and stuff. And I don't really have a question per se, but I guess I do have a question and I'm getting to it. How do you like work in a place where I live in Pennsylvania, so
Okay.
obviously a lot of my state swings red.
Yep.
And I live in Westmoreland County. I'll keep it at that part.
Fair.
Also a red county. How do you like not run your mouth to someone about their facts that they have that aren't really facts?
Okay, so I'll give you the answer, but here's first the question. Is your income tip dependent?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a couple different things going on here. The first question is, if the most important thing while you're at work is to just compartmentalize that you're dealing with lunatics and you want to get the largest possible tip, I probably would just not really do any of the things that you could do, because if you think it'll jeopardize your income, don't do any of this stuff. Okay, that's the first thing. I feel for that. You don't want to all of a sudden have a problem financially because you told some MAGA clown that Trump didn't really build a wall or whatever. Right? You don't want to get into that. You're not going to work at this job forever. Fine. If you wanted to do something that would make you feel like you're doing something, but maybe not alienate people or jeopardize your tips, you could do the empathetic Socratic method of questioning where they tell you, well, you know that, Biden's doing cocaine in the Oval Office, right? Did you know that? You go, oh, I didn't know that. Where'd you hear that? And they go, oh, it's all over. But like, who told you that? Well, I actually saw it. I don't know that I actually saw it, but you do the questions, right? You could just open-minded question. That's one thing. And then, of course, if you really want to confront these people, you can do it. But then I just don't know that it's the best thing for your job and your income,
Yeah. Well, the reason I'm asking is I actually had like customers who looked at me and they're like, don't you think that Donald Trump did such a great job and that Biden's doing a horrible job? I was like, these people, they were regulars at my place. So like, I already knew them. I also know that they don't ever tip you. So I gave them my opinion. I said, honestly, I voted for Joe Biden.
Yep. So this was going to be my next question. Do these MAGA people tip you well?
Not typically, no. I usually can tell that they say Trump. They'll like have their Trump Make America Great Again shirts.
Yep.
And unfortunately, my boss is one of those Trump supporters.
Oh, dear God.
And yeah, I
God.
can't even, like, I'm leaving my job because I can't deal with it.
Well, if you're leaving, maybe you want to just go down in flames and really destroy the place metaphorically, and just tell everybody what you think. Here's one other thing. What about something along the lines of, people in the chat are saying something along the lines of, I vote for whoever tips me the most, or something along those lines. It's, you could try it. I don't know. This is a tough situation, but I think it's a good thing that you're moving on.
But yeah, I'm going to another job that's tip, but that's a tip based, but I have a cosmetology license, so it's just going from a restaurant to something better, I say.
Okay, fair. That's good.
But literally my job though.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
They think that they don't want us claiming our tips, and I do it all the time and they yell at me, but they say they don't want to do it because of their tax break.
Okay, let me see if I understand what you mean by claiming tips. So tips come in both cash and on credit card receipts, right?
Yes.
Now the credit card receipts are automatically claimed.
Yes.
Okay, and you're saying with the cash, rather than just putting it in your pocket, you actually claim it and then run it through as if they were coming in on credit cards or whatever.
Yes. Well, yes and no. Like at the end of the shift, you just type it in how much you make in cash, and it automatically takes like the taxes out for it.
Okay. Well, listen, I'm not going to give you any tax advice, but you're very honest. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, my job doesn't like it very much.
Okay, fair. Well, listen.
They dressed up as John Fetterman for Halloween and said, "Oh, he's going to be the loser."
Oh boy. Does the bar you work at serve food?
Yes.
What are the most popular items with the MAGA people?
wings and pizza.
Boneless wings?
Boneless and bone-in, but they definitely need some boneless wings because they ain't got no bones in their body.
Have any of them pointed out that there's really no such thing as a boneless wing and you're talking about part of the breast? Do they even care?
No.
I figured. All right, Christina. Well, listen, you've said it all. We wish you the best.
Thank you.
All right. Wow. Illuminating vignette of the conservative part of Pennsylvania. That's very serious stuff. We're gonna have to deal with that. Let's go to Henry from Florida. Henry from Florida, welcome to the David Pakman Show. What's going on?
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So this is more of a comment of something you bring up every now and again. So I saw the other day you were talking about the sanctimonious when he bobbles his head.
Yep.
You know, I was looking at the way that he does that while listening to what he says at the same time. And I get the feeling that he does that without realizing it. I think his subconscious is causing his body to react that way as a form of nonverbal communication.
Yeah.
Because as little kids, we're taught that if you don't want to do something, or when you don't agree with something, or when there's something with a negative thing to it, you would shake your head left and right like saying, no, I don't want to do that. Well, I think that that's his subliminal way of saying, don't believe anything that I say because I'm full of BS.
So if I understand correctly, Henry, your view is that when DeSantis does his bobblehead thing, where it's almost like a helium balloon that's going to lift them off into space, he's not doing it on purpose. He's also not suffering from a Parkinsonian condition or tardive dyskinesia. It's not a physiological medical issue. You think that it's a subconscious commentary on what he is saying at the time.
Yes, exactly. Like, don't believe me. Don't believe me.
That's
Nope,
interesting.
Nope,
That's
true.
interesting. It's certainly possible.
Yeah. Well, that's all I wanted to say. I've actually been holding on to that for a couple of weeks now. I figured I'd mention it today since, it's a pretty relaxed day. But I love your show. I tune in as much as I can. I even hook up some of my friends with your website subscription because I really believe in your content. So just keep up the good work because, in David we trust.
I love that. And by the way, is there a bird there? I just heard a bird.
Well, that's actually my phone because I got one of my buddies from work where we kind of gang up on the Republicans and all the crap that's going on in the world.
Oh,
and
I got you.
When we do shows, we usually chat back and forth. So that's my phone telling me that he's sending me a message.
Oh, okay. I thought you maybe had a parakeet or something.
Nah,
cool.
No birds here.
All right, Henry from Florida, thank you for the call.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for doing what you do.
All right, there goes Henry. Let's go to Cole from Alaska. Cole, welcome to the David Pakman Show. What's on your mind today? Cole, welcome.
Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello. I really like your show.
Thank you.
And last night, I have one non-political question and one political question.
Go ahead.
So, last night I was listening to your show and you said that you didn't like heavy metal.
That's right.
What's your favorite genre of music?
I don't know that I have a favorite. I'm just not a heavy metal guy and I'm not a country guy.
Okay. Because, I love heavy metal.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm. And also, do you think, have you heard of Mary Peltola?
Yeah, that name rings a bell. Let me look that up. Mary Peltola. Let's see. U.S. representative. Oh, she's a congresswoman from Alaska.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hold on. She's the one who won the seat that Sarah Palin wanted. Hello?
Do you think ranked choice voting is going to actually ensure that Mary Potola wins a second term?
That's so difficult to answer. I mean, I think incumbency has a major power in general. Whether ranked choice voting in Alaska will ensure she gets reelected, I couldn't say. I would just be guessing.
Yeah, because Alaska used to be like very, very red.
Yes.
And in the last couple of years, Alaska has moved leftward.
Yes.
And I think one of the reasons why is because Alaska is a very libertarian-like state.
That's right. Conservatism in Alaska is different than conservatism in, say, Mississippi. Cole, in the interests of time, curious just to know, how late does the sun stay out where you are in Alaska at this time of year?
I would say maybe I honestly am going to give a wild guess.
You don't know when the sunset is where you live right now?
It's probably midnight.
Okay. All right. Well, that's pretty late. Yeah.
But it's actually 4:51 though.
No, I know it's not night right now where you are, but the sun is out till midnight. That's interesting. Okay. Cole, I love it. I thank you so much for the call. Great to hear from our friends in Alaska.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you.
Likewise. Cole from Alaska, thank you so much for the call. Let's go to Denise from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Denise, go ahead. And you've got to unmute yourself, Denise, please. Denise, you've self-muted. Please unmute yourself so we can hear from you. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. All right, Denise, I'm going to move you back to the audience. You've muted yourself, so that's why nobody can hear you, I guess. I mean, it's unfortunate, but let me know when you fixed it up. Let's go to Justin from South Carolina. Justin, welcome to the program. What's on your mind today?
Hi, David. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. You should do voiceover, Justin. Wow.
Really? I just want to say, first and foremost, I am a huge fan of you. Your content, it's really intellectual, and that's what I love about you. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of you. But
thank you.
So the couple previous person was talking about where she worked, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And the environment, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I kind of have a similar situation.
Uh-oh.
I work for a huge company that is pretty much half the United States. Now, this company is really conservative, a conservative company. Their values are conservative. And I am probably the far from opposite of that, right? Whenever subjects like that come up within the company, I kind of just keep my mouth shut.
What would be a subject? Like, what would be an issue that comes up like that's related to this?
There's a lot of people within the company who do wear Trump merchandise, who have Trump stickers on their cars saying, Trump is my president, things like that. It's a really religious company as well, which I think kind of ties into the whole kind of conservative thing. But what I have been doing is I have just been keeping to myself, so to speak, and not letting my political opinions or my opinions of that matter kind of leak out, right? So in a weird way, I'm kind of like undercover, so to speak, right? Because if I feel like I came out and said, okay, I'm not religious, right? I'm not for conservatism. I feel like my job would kind of be in jeopardy and I would get treated different.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm sure you would have a sense of that.
Yeah. And so that's, I've been with the company for about 3 years and things like that. That's all I hear about. That's all I see. But in terms of keeping my job and I don't like when somebody else gives their political opinion, or even though political opinions should not even be discussed in the workplace, nor should religion.
Sure.
Because I think that's a kind of a double-edged sword. Like it's an unwinnable battle. But I have two questions. My first question about this is, should I continue to just be undercover, so to speak, in terms of my job? Although it does bother me, right? It does bother me their views and their, whether they
listen,
look at
Justin,
things.
I don't mean to cut you off, but it's basically the same answer I gave Christina, which is this really depends on how you think it would or wouldn't jeopardize your job, what level of hostility in terms of the environment you're willing to have, and whether you plan on staying this job for a long time or not. I mean, I think it's really, you're the only person who can answer this question.
Yeah. Okay, so for the sake of time, I'm just going to jump right into my next question.
Sounds good.
Do you, in your honest opinion, do you think that the Democrats need to have a different person, so to speak, in terms of their choice for who's going to run for president in 2024 other than Joe Biden?
Listen, if it were up to me to draw this up the way I want it, I would look at someone who's younger and who speaks in a way that I think is more what we need right now to fight these MAGA-Potamians. And so it would be somebody like a Gavin Newsom. I find the conversation a bit of a moot point because when you have a president that is in the Oval Office and they want to run for the re-election and they are running, they're going to be the nominee unless they die, essentially. Okay. And the DNC has decided they're not going to have a real primary. And I understand this is always the case, et cetera. So yeah, sure. I mean, I think that obviously Joe Biden is not bringing the vigor and excitement that somebody younger would, but it is what it is. We're where we are,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I want to just say, man, David, your content is amazing. I love what you do.
Thank you.
I just want to say this. I think that you look like Jake Gyllenhaal a little bit. I don't know if you've ever got that in your life.
I have. I've gotten Jake Gyllenhaal, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and then some guy from the show Glee named Mr. Shu.
All right, man. Well, I just want to say thank you for having me on. I really enjoy your content. Keep doing what you're doing. And, I'll always be an avid viewer of yours, and much love to you, okay?
All right, Justin, thank you so much for the call. Good luck with the employment situation. We will keep an eye on that. I have to ask, is the Dr. Dan that now wants to be on, is this the same Dr. Dan we already spoke to earlier who dropped out of medical school, or is this a different doctor? Dr. Dan?
Different doctor.
Oh, different. Are you actually a doctor?
I'm a medical doctor and I have a PhD, 2 for the price of 1.
You're a genuine, nobody can take anything away from you. You're genuinely a medical doctor.
Hold on, from down under, calling from South Australia.
I love it. What's your specialty?
Cardiology.
Cardiology?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. What is it, 10 a.m. there?
It's 10:30 in the middle of Australia. South
Very
Australia.
good. Well, welcome to the program. What can I do for you today?
Thank you, and thank you for your show.
Thank you.
I was interested if you've subscribed to the theory that the QAnon phenomena is more than just a random collection of loonies, but more a political campaign driven by Bannon by Trump, the political tool through social media to try and impact the result for the.
I struggle to think so only because they're so disorganized and incompetent that it's hard for me to believe that something that would only indirectly be such a campaign for an individual like Trump could be so well organized and proactive. I just struggle to believe that.
The conspiratory movement has made it to Australia, which one of the reasons I'm contacting you, or I've got in contact with your show, is because it's made such an impact on my work as a doctor, because my patients are refusing vaccines because they're subscribing to the QAnon rubbish.
Wait. Your patients are refusing what?
COVID vaccination.
Oh, COVID vaccination. Oh, yeah, yeah. No, that doesn't surprise me. But do they mention QAnon stuff specifically?
Specifically, so they have a bunch of relatively left-wing, boomer-aged, conservative people, sometimes alternative medicine influenced, are now subscribing to anti-vax trope, but also now supporting Putin in the war in the Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
They've gone from climate change activism to being climate skeptics.
Yep.
And it's really shocking. And there's a group of guys who are doing research to understand what's driving it and how it's reached so far across the world. There's a guy called Daniel Morrison, an excellent essay on Medium. If you Google Daniel Ed Morrison in Medium, his essays, a lot of research looking at the Cambridge Analytica.
Yep.
And some connections with Bannon and the Trump campaign.
I'll check that out. That sounds interesting. But honestly, it's not a big shock. Oh, do you have to get that? Is that a patient?
No, go. No,
okay. It's not a shock to me that this has reached Australia because with the internet, it's basically everywhere to some degree.
See, we don't have your religious conservative politics, and we've got compulsory voting, thankfully, which is saving us from the fringe having a major influence. But we've now got 4 senators in our federal upper house who are basically spouting the same QAnon bullshit to Parliament.
When someone says when a patient says they don't want the vaccine because of some QAnon thing, what do you say?
It depends how much time I have, but I usually blast them for just taking bullshit from the internet and to trust your doctor. Basically, if we say, look, if you trust me with your life and you're taking my medicines and you let me operate on you, you've got to trust me that I'm a more reliable source of information than your Uncle Jerry who's just seen something online that's crap.
And how do they tend to react?
Usually break it down. There's 2 schools. Some of them are just so completely down the rabbit hole that they can't deal. Wow. And they don't trust us and they walk away and they just genuinely think the vaccine's going to kill them.
Yep.
And I'm trying to tell them that you're an 80-year-old guy with heart failure. If you get COVID, that's going to kill you. Don't believe what you see online. The biggest threat is the virus. Just banging my head against the wall trying to work out what the motivation is for the QAnon guys to be driving us so hard. And the only motivation I can come for is that somebody's getting political gain or monetary gain from it. And that's why I'm subscribing to this theory that it's a psyops operation through by conservative political operatives to get votes or to activate the vote in the US because it's the only thing that makes sense.
What a nightmare. What a night. That is crazy. Well, listen, thank you for letting us know what's going on down there. Can I ask you a cardiology question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is there a definite answer right now on cholesterol from the standpoint of it used to be that eating cholesterol would raise your blood cholesterol. And then more recently, it doesn't. It's carbs that get turned into cholesterol by the body. What is the truth on diet and cholesterol right now?
So the short version is the majority of your blood cholesterol is driven by genetics, unfortunately. So if you've got shitty genetics, no matter what you eat, it's going to be lousy.
Right.
You have a marginal increment to your cholesterol if you eat high saturated fat diet. Doesn't necessarily have to have cholesterol in it, but if you have high meat fats and dairy fats in your diet, you're more likely to have an elevated cholesterol. And if you're massively overweight, it messes with your lipids. So if you're talking about the average American who's eating a high carb diet and is 50 pounds overweight, that's probably what's driving their increase in cholesterol. But you can eat your eggs, it won't kill you. But if you've got a genetically high cholesterol, you should be conscious of that and talk to your doctor about statins because there are drugs that can make a big difference.
And what about
diet makes a
like
marginal difference?
Oatmeal might reduce cholesterol, and it's always like it might. It's not totally clear. What about that?
Oh no, it's very clear that the effect is small. So there are a whole bunch of products called plant sterols, naturally occurring plants, and that's why the vegans have much better cholesterol than the rest of us. Oats, and there are some products in the stores where they enhance food products with sterols that are naturally occurring in oats, specifically to try and trap cholesterol in your guts so that you poo more of it out rather than absorbing it. It's effective, but it's only marginal. If you imagine the effect that the medication has, it might drop your cholesterol by half. Getting a really strict diet eating sterols might reduce your cholesterol by 1/10 if you're really militant about it. But it's a quality of life question. If it makes you miserable, you may as well eat your eggs and don't worry about that 1 week off your life, or take your medicines and live another year. The medicines have such a big impact that if you really have a serious cholesterol problem, don't get too hung up about the diet, but take your pills.
Dr. Dan, thank you so much. Really appreciate the call.
No, and thanks for your show.
All right, there we
Have a good
go. We'll let him get back to his. I don't even think he's really working right now, but great to hear from Dr. Dan. All right, let's try again with Denise from Pittsburgh. Denise, please, let's hope that the technical issues have been resolved. You have unmuted. Welcome to the program. Oh, no. Denise, you've unmuted, which is a great first step, but we can't hear you, which probably means you have the wrong audio device selected. Oh, boy. All right. Well. Oh, it looks like Denise is changing audio device. Denise, are you with us? No. All right. Well, we tried, Denise. We really did. Let's go to Janelle from San Antonio. Janelle from San Antonio, previously from, I forget where you previously were, Janelle.
I'm in San Antonio. I've been here for 10 years, but we've been all over the country.
Oh, all right. I think there was another San Antonio person who recently moved there, but it must not have been you.
Oh, no, it wasn't me.
Fair. Well, welcome to the program.
Thank you. My question is, who's in charge of how many Supreme Court judges we have?
Well, it's not who's in charge. It's 9. And there is the ability to increase that number. But it's not a question. It's not that it's somebody's in charge and they just go, well, now we've got 7 or whatever the case may be.
So there's nothing we can do to increase the amount of judges to
No,
even
Joe Biden could do that. Joe Biden
Okay.
could do that. The laws could be changed. But Joe Biden has said it's not something he wants to do, in part because it would just create a situation where, okay, he raises it to 13 and puts 4 justices on the court. But then we have a Republican and they go to 17 and put 4 more. And, so he's refusing to really consider it seriously.
That's unfortunate because it's really affecting our country.
It is.
Having
I have to say,
conservative court.
I worry about the idea of just starting to increase. Like, obviously, it would solve a major problem right now. I would prefer term limits for Supreme Court justices so that there aren't these games where, just hold out a little longer if you're a conservative justice, so maybe a Republican wins in 24. I want to get rid of those games. So I think that a term limit would be an interesting thing to do. And there's some other reforms that could be made short of court packing.
Okay. Thank you.
San Antonio's good. You like San Antonio?
Oh no, it's not safe in Texas for my family anymore because of the laws. And we've been trying to leave, actually. I wanted to get out after the last election cycle. But my husband delayed things, which is fine, I guess. But now we're having trouble selling our house. We are headed to Maryland. We have family there. Plus, it's a safe haven for LGBTQ, especially trans. My son is trans, and we need to get out of here. And actually, because of the way that the Republicans are scaring people about the economy, and then the interest rates are up and stuff, we're having a lot of difficulty selling our house. And we live in an area that's very sought after. Our house is really nice, and all the neighborhoods out here, because we're in the suburbs, but all the neighborhoods around aren't getting much interest because people aren't moving to Texas as much, and a lot of people are leaving. And then,
I've heard this from so many people, and often what's actually going on in a lot of places is the people who own the homes and have high 2, low 3, high 3% mortgage rates, they don't want to give that up and have to get a new mortgage at 6%. So they're like, I'm just not going to sell. Now you're willing to sell, but then the problem is happening on the buy side. I'm hearing this in a lot of different places.
Oh, yeah. In other states as well?
Yeah, all over the place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was just a Texas thing.
No,
and I
no,
heard
no.
that Florida was having a lot of trouble.
Florida's having trouble, but it's other kinds of trouble, if you know what Florida's up to all sorts of trouble. Yeah. Well, listen, I'm sorry to hear that. And I hope you're able to sell the place and get to Maryland.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Janelle from San Antonio. And that is going to put a lid on today's stream. So great speaking to so many different people. We're going to do it again. We really are, folks. We're going to do it. Make sure you're following on Twitch. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube. Get a membership. Get the children's book, davidpakman.com/book. Kids love it from the reviews I'm reading, and I wrote most of the reviews, so obviously I would know. All right, everybody. We'll see you very soon. Thank you.